It's Gus. I'm here for my Heretic review. The movie was released in 2024. It's not the most recent movie I've watched, but I figured I would review it since I've already featured multiple songs from the movie in my radio show. Um, the movie was directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods and stars Hugh Grant and Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East. And yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. It goes in some strange directions, and I think the it's easy to follow as a blind person, even though there's fair amount of stuff going on. It kind of all takes place, or most of it takes place within this strange house, which is kind of a horror trope. I feel like, but it's an acceptable trope as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, a lot of the movie is kind of about well, the movie, without going into spoilers, is about these Mormon missionaries who kind of turn up at this guy's house, Mr. Reed, who's played by Hugh Grant, and yeah, a lot of it is just kind of like debating theology and kind of yeah, it's kind of an example of how you can kind of go slightly mad just going down the rabbit hole of religion. I mean, not to get too personal, but I'm an atheist, and I feel like it's can be quite easy to come off as obnoxious and yeah, it's a slippery slope to kind of I don't know getting on the wrong side of people. And but yeah, I enjoyed this movie, and I would say the music in the movie is also used quite well. It's like kind of diegetic and kind of illustrates a point that isn't just there for the hell of it. And yeah, I've seen quite a few movies with Hugh Grant in. It's kind of hard not to when you're British and growing up. He's always there's movies like I don't know Notting Hill and stuff like that, and they're not generally movies that I enjoy. I kind of hate romantic comedies, but he's good in them. But it's definitely a different role for him. So if you want to see him kind of flex his abilities, this is a good movie to watch. And yeah, I kind of mentioned earlier about like a lot of horror movies taking place in houses, and I definitely kind of I'd rank this one fairly high, but not quite as high as like The Exorcist or The Shining, but like higher than like the Conjuring movies or Insidious and stuff like that. I'd kind of put it close to movies like what's it, Speak No Evil and Split, which both kind of star James McAvoy. And I would say if you enjoyed this movie, or if you enjoyed those movies, then this one's worth watching. And yeah, the audio description was pretty good. Um, I think Laura Post did it, and I mentioned in my kind of original video where I discussed that I would be doing reviews that like my enjoyment can kind of hinge on whether it's a good performance or not. And yeah, it was uh, quite dry, which you might think is kind of bad, but for me, if you try and inform what you're supposed to feel about what's going on in the description of the scene, it can kind of affect my enjoyment of things. So, like reading it dry kind of lets me develop my own feelings about things. This might be a bit of a strange example, but I was watching the show Fallout, and there's this guy who just had sex and then wiped his crotch on a curtain, and it was just delivered quite dryly. And I thought, oh, that kind of made it even more comedic in a way. But yeah, I mean, anyway, trying to think of what else to say about the movie, really. Um, um, yeah, I mean, the kind of original score for the movie. I forget who composed it, but that was pretty decent as well. Kind of built tension and things like that. And yeah, I would say this movie is worth a watch if you are into this kind of thing. Um, you know, I